So, Des, how have the preparations been going for Jacksonville? Some of the problems they present defensively, including the one they have a Ledbetter on that defensive line.
Yeah. No, obviously, we went back, watched the game from last week, things that we could have done better, obviously things that we could correct it on. Got that done, came in here yesterday, met with the offense, kind of got just a brief overview for them, kind of got them, obviously, personnel, who they're going to see, what type of fronts we're going to see, what type of coverages. Obviously, this defense that we're about to go up against is going to be hungry, obviously coming off a loss. Both teams coming off a loss, there's going to be two hungry teams going against each other. So we know for us offensively, we want to go out there, start fast, and just keep executing, and you really not let them get, any momentum, and just try to keep that offense pushing.
And correction-wise, what did you all come up with in the passing game and how to get that back going?
Yeah, obviously, there are a lot of things we could have done better, obviously including myself. But, it's just about staying within our reads, keeping the game simple, running the same plays we run over and over again, just making the same reads, just not trying to do too much, and then everyone just do their job. We got to where one person tried to do too much or, forgot their job here and it kind of messed everyone up. So it's really just got to be all 11 together playing as one, and everyone doing their job.
And just going back to the two passes, the one deep to Kyle and the fourth down one wide, how can you, try to do a little, how did you assess those throws?
Yeah, Kyle is obviously a guy that he's a big body frame, and, you don't really, he's not one that you have to throw a perfect ball. You got to lead him. So that first one, I try to lead him, try to, drop it in the bucket, and, that's one that he's open, he's wide open, just on a safety 5 yards off. Just got to put it on him to go make a play. That later one in the game, the more vertical, it was press bail coverage. I kind of lost him, but also thought he had a step on him. Should have just been kind of a 50-50 back shoulder ball. But like I said, Kyle's a guy where you just got to put it up in the area and he'll go make a play.
Now that you've been through 3 weeks, you consistently talked about rhythm and certain. Why is that happening? You're able to figure that out?
No, I mean, it could be from, whatever it is. But, for us, it's just we didn't go out there and we just didn't, play our game. We came out there and, they kind of came out there with more juice, more energy than we had. And, they were fired up and then more than we were.
You say it can be from whatever it is. Well, what is that?
Yeah, I'm saying whatever, whether it's travel, whether it's first away game, whatever it is. That's something that we got to eliminate is obviously going out there and starting flat. We have to go out there and be able, the main thing is obviously the first play. Get positive on the first play. After that is pick up that first down and then keep the ball moving from there.
This is also, it wasn't just an away game problem. I mean, you talked about offensive rhythm. It feels like every Sunday and every Wednesday. So I'm just wondering how you fix that.
Yeah, I think how you fix it, obviously, it's tough to go out here and practice, like I said last week. It's tough to go out here and practice that because you get 6 play reps, and then, you kind of go off. So, but for us, it's about that first play. The first play of every single rep is make it positive, make it a positive play. And I think, if you go out there and you say that first play is going to be whether a 4-yard gain or a 10-yard gain, whatever it is, that if it's positive, I would say that drive for the continuation of it should be positive.
When you went back and looked at the film, and especially when it came to some of those sacks, what did you think you personally could do better maybe to help avoid some of them or work with your O-line better?
Yeah, no, it's just calmness in the pocket, slowing down the feet. The O-line actually did a great job. You go back, there was a lot of times where they were one-on-one, manned up, and they did a great job of protecting. Some of it was my footwork, whether I was sliding into it or just taking too long in my drop, getting the ball out. So, a lot of those things I'll take on me to be able to clean up, go out there, have better footwork, which we work every single day. And then, talk about the patience in the pocket, and just being subtle within it.
What are you looking forward to about going to play in London?
Yeah, obviously first time over there overseas. It'll be the first time crossing the pond. So, it'll be fun, obviously, to go over there. Family got over there a couple of days ago, so they've been over there enjoying their time. But, no, it'll be fun. It'll be fun, to see the environment, the atmosphere. It's going to be, a packed game. Fans are going to go crazy for, almost any and everything. So it'll be fun to be out there.
First trip ever, to Europe or overseas?
First trip crossing the water.
Are you prepared for like the long flight and like the time change and all that stuff? Like, what are you?
We did Hawaii a couple years ago, so that was a long flight. I think this one might have a couple more hours on Hawaii, so it'll be interesting.
You mentioned that meeting yesterday. I assume that's something y'all do every Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Who leads that?
I do.
How do you prepare for that?
Yeah, so then, you go Sunday, you obviously play the game, go back, watch the game. Monday we'll come in here, rewatch the game with the coaches, go over, and then, kind of Monday after that, everyone leaves, I'll stay back. Quarterbacks will stay back. We'll kind of watch like a defensive overview, kind of get a base, look and feel of what they're going to do. Then I'll go home, I'll watch, 2 to maybe 3 games. And that kind of gives me a good sense, a good understanding for me to be able to come in here on Tuesdays and be able to run and lead those meetings. And obviously, some of the guys, that might be their first time watching the new week's defense. Some they might have, kind of have the same preparation style that I do. So for everyone, it's just about getting in there, just really understanding and knowing, the personnel, the DBs, the safeties, the linebackers, what the base looks, what the nickel looks, sub defense is going to look like, and just try to get everyone on the same page.
How long was that Tuesday meeting last
Yeah,
week?
probably about an hour.
What's your process for Monday night? Do you have a schedule? Is it like, once baby goes to bed, then you do every 2 or 3 hours? You have a certain spots, or do you just kind of take it as you?
Yeah, Monday night's obviously, a little more of the chill night because you don't get the game plan until Tuesday. You would just watch, obviously, like I said, you would watch all the game before. So, good or bad, that's kind of erased out of your head by, say, 2 o'clock. And then once 2 o'clock hits, it's kind of on to the next week. So like I said, we get to that kind of overview meeting with the quarterbacks about 2:30, brief over that for about 30, 45 minutes. Then we're out of here probably about 4 o'clock on a Monday. And then, it's go home, grab dinner, kind of spend some away time. And then, it'll be, more freedom as far as, being able to just kind of, you can watch the Monday night game, but also I'm watching whatever team we're doing. So that's kind of on in the background.
Why 2 o'clock?
What do you mean?
Like, why is like 2 o'clock your time where you're like, I'm done?
That's just kind of what time like our team stuff ends. Yeah.
I wasn't sure if that was like a thing for you.
No. Yeah, that's just what time our team stuff ends. So that's kind of wrapping up, that Sunday or whatever, on to the next week.
And how much game film do you watch versus, because every starter will dole out stuff to, whether it's Taylor or Logan or some of the quarterback coaches. How much do you watch versus saying, okay, Taylor, you take X, Y, or Z? You're kind of in the startups.
Yeah, no, everyone obviously has their own different routines. For me, like I said, before that Tuesday, try to get 2-3 games in. And then obviously, it's week 3 or whatever. So going, you can only, it's week 1, they don't have any games. You got to watch preseason or from the year before. So you obviously just try to get 2 or 3 games in before I come into Tuesday. Tuesday, then, I'll go back, probably watch, maybe 1 more if they got it. And then if not, you start to get in your situational. You start to get in your cut-ups. So Wednesday night, looking forward to Thursday will be third down, So, Wednesday night I'll go in tonight, go watch all third down cut-ups, see what they like, see what they don't. So when we come in Thursday practice, we'll be ready for third down. Thursday night, go and look for red zone cut-ups. We break those up into 3 different ways, see what they like for our Friday practice. And then that Friday, kind of get into situational, see how they do 2-minute, what they got to do, got to habits. And then kind of just, refreshing, you go back and you'll watch some of the, just kind of play the games. So you go back, kind of watch those full game tapes, just kind of see the flow of the game, how things were moving. Maybe a team runs the same formation or whatever, see how they're lining up to it, what the play call we have in that week out of that formation, see how it might play out. And so, yeah, that's kind of how I'd say my film breakdown goes throughout the week.
How much you give to Taylor? Like, are you the one saying, hey, Taylor, Logan, go watch X or Y, or is that like rags, or like how does that go?
Yeah, no, so everyone kind of, like I said, has their own schedule and watch whatever they watch, and then it'll be, Taylor might have seen something that I didn't see while watching the games. He'll come in and say that, or it'll get brought up in one of our meetings.
How do you recover the next day after getting hit so many times? Is Monday a huge recovery day? What do you kind of do to get back?
Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, big recovery day. Getting lifts both Monday and Tuesday, getting a little recovery run. It's good to kind of get back in, kind of, get out there, be active and get the body moving. The longer you sit around, the more sore you're going to be. So be able to come in on Monday, kind of get a lift in early, get a whole bunch of treatment, come in. Tuesday's our off day. Quarterbacks come in, get another lift in. get more treatment, and then have that meeting that we have.
People are getting a little bit of a peek inside your schedule, and obviously you're regimented during the season. So throw in the London element. It's something you've never dealt with. What's the advice that you've been given in trying to navigate, the very long flight that you talked about, and then the time change, all that?
Yeah, and we kind of was just thinking about it on literally an hour ago. But one thing that we talked about is obviously trying to change your sleep schedule. So going to bed a little earlier and then waking up a little earlier. So that way when we get on the flight tomorrow, we're a little tired. But then, we were talking, and like I said, Thursday nights I would usually go back and, we'd get our red zone install, and then you go back and watch red zone. Well, tomorrow night we're going to be on a plane. So it's like, okay, we're going to have to, and then, you get on the plane, you go to sleep, you wake up, and then you practice. So you don't have that time at home where you're studying red zone. So, that's going to have to be done on the plane for the first couple hours, because then we're supposed to sleep and then obviously get up and go. So we're going to have to know, obviously, basically the full game plan, within the hour of the flight that we get on the plane tomorrow, so we can get our rest and recovery and be able to go on Friday. So that'll obviously be, one of the bigger changes when you talk about preparation mentally that we'll have to deal with.
So you've already been adjusting your sleep schedule prior to, obviously, the flight tomorrow.
Yeah, last night, obviously, try to go to bed a little bit, about an hour earlier than what I usually do, and then woke up about 30, 45 minutes a little earlier. Hopefully try to get to bed, probably try to be asleep tonight around 8:45, 8:30, and then try to wake up earlier tomorrow.
How do you see the Jacksonville pass rush? They got Allen and Trayvon 5 sacks, and Clayvon Chason comes up the bench. How do y'all see their pass rush, even though they just got 5 sacks so far?
Yeah, obviously those guys are vertical up the field. Like to win with speed. Got Big Roy in there. In the interior is obviously a big defensive lineman, kind of, that picturesque when you talk about D linemen. They got a great 5 up front, great 4 or 5 up front. And then in the back end, obviously Campbell, Williams, those both help out on the corner. They got 2 good safeties, Cisco and Jenkins, 2 and 5. So those guys do a great job of kind of, changing responsibilities, whether they want to add an extra guy in for the run. And then they do a great job of communicating in the back end. So it'll definitely be a challenge for us, but, we're excited enough for any challenge.
Did y'all see anything where Houston was able to break some big plays on them that, might translate for you all?
Yeah, sometimes they got hit on a couple pressures that, they were able to get the ball out behind. So as long as, we're able to pick up those pressures and, got good concept behind, we should be good.
I'm going to be that person. So a lot of talk about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Overall,
Big for the Bearcats. Big for the
There we go. Just thoughts on it? I don't know.
No, man, it's great for Travis. Hopefully it all works out for him. Hopefully it doesn't end up in a song here in a couple of years. But no, it's great for Travis, great for the brand of Cincinnati, so it's big.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Hey, what do you see with the Jacksonville offense? Trevor Lawrence, they were able to get a lot of yards last week, but not so much the points part.
Yeah, they got 4 or 5 great wide receivers. Ridley's doing a good job. I watched him against the Colts, watched him against Houston. I mean, he can run. And then you see the other guys that are doing the same thing last year when you go back to the playoff, that run that they made to get to the playoffs. All those young guys last year was doing a great job. So quarterback was getting the ball out of his hands, making all the reads. Running back's really good also. So they skill positions is excellent, when you look at them, talking from that standpoint.
And speaking about the back, what makes him so dangerous, Travis?
Well, I mean, he could run between the tackles and get outside. If you looked at that one play, I guess it was against Indy, they had him bottled up, and all of a sudden everybody stopped. The next thing you know, he was in the end zone about 25 yards later. So a lot of running backs really can't do that, find the vision and get to the open space, and that's what he's really good at. You can see a young guy really good at running between the tackles, but if the hole is open, he can't get outside.
Recruiter played a little bit last week. How did you feel that you didn't have
I thought he did a good job. You know, he didn't get targeted any, but his technique was very good on all the plays that he played. So, you know, that was a good plus for us. And then, you know, so we'll just keep adding, you know, to his total and see what, you know, eventually when he gets himself in football shape, then, you know, Arthur make that decision that, hey, it's time for him to go ahead and be the starter.
How long do you, I mean, timelines are nebulous, but in your experience, how long does that typically go? How long does that take?
Well, I mean, we got to take a look and say, you know, he was out for 6-7 weeks, and that means that you miss a lot of training camp and the stuff that you would normally be doing in training camp, getting sore, you know, hamstrings tight, stuff like that. He's kind of going through those little steps now. And so you don't want to all of a sudden go from 0 to 100 and all of a sudden he pull a muscle. Next thing you know, he's out for another 5 or 6 weeks. So I think Arthur is doing the right thing of, you know, letting him get acclimated back into the game. And then when he feels like he's ready to go, muscles not sore, things like that, you're going to get a good football player.
Arthur's talked a lot about with Troy Anderson, just like the way that he can help design coverage schemes because of the way he's able to guard tight ends and backs. How will his loss kind of impact what you're trying to do in the secondary?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you lose a good football player like Troy, that hurts, and so somebody else has to step up. And you know that's the thing that we talked about with Trey when we lost Jeff. Can anybody else step up? Just so happened we lost 3 guys at that same time. So we want the linebackers to say, hey, look, when you lose a good football player, somebody else has to be able to step up and get ready to do that job. And that's how football is. You know, no matter how long we've lost him, somebody else got to step in because we're not going to wait. So we have to get ourselves ready to go to fill that void.
Could one of your safeties in some packages fill that too, or do you think that's strictly a linebacker thing?
No, I mean, I think it just depends on what we're going to do on those certain plays. We don't want to give them the clues, but, you know, it just depends on what we're going to be doing.
What are your impressions of A.J. Terrell, Ben, with your games?
I think it's been pretty good. You know, when you look at A.J. cover skill, we kind of talked about, you know, some of the things that he wanted to do in the off season. Where do you want to go? And you could see him doing those right now. You know, the biggest thing that you want to do is when the ball comes at you, catch it, and now you become an elite corner. And I think that's the thing that he's trying to get himself back into where he was a couple of years ago. You know, when he made All-Pro, he was one of the best cover corners in the league. I watched all his snaps a couple of years ago. Then, you know, hey, you can get back to that. But the elite corners, when the ball's thrown their way, they go get it out the air. And that's the thing that kind of separates you. So he works on that real hard. You know, I know the cameras are not out there. He's always catching. He's catching jug machines. He's doing those things. And that's when the ball comes at you, you have to tend to relax a little bit more. And it's hard because you've been in a hard press, and now I got to relax for the ball. So those are things that he's kind of working through. But as far as cover skills, he's like one of the best I've coached.
What were the things that he wanted to get better at?
Well, you know, like like when I talked to him, he was like, Coach, I want to get interceptions. And I told him, I said, okay, in order to get interceptions, you got to be close to the receiver. Because good quarterbacks throw the ball to the receiver, not the DB, right? Because they throw it to the DB, they're not a good quarterback. So when you look at that, and I watched his film last year, he was looking to make a play last year other than cover the receiver. So I'm tending to let him go the other way. Cover the wide receiver, and if the ball comes, you're intercepted. Because that's what the good one's going to do. So now he's coming back to that. You know, I'm going to cover my guy. I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. And if I'm in position to make a play, I'll make that play. And that's what you see. When you watch film, he's always in position. And that's the telltale sign of a good corner. Hey, I could be in position. They may not throw it, but if I'm not in position, they do throw it, they got a ball cut on me.
To follow up on your comments about Ridley from what you're seeing on film, he's been out for most of 2 years. How special is it for a guy to miss that much time? And I realize it's different for a physical injury, but to be out that long and come back and immediately be an impactful player.
To me, I think anytime you got a guy who's been out of the league and then you come back and still have the skills to play at a high level, that's incredible. That means he's working somewhere, because he's not just sitting on the couch. You may not see it, but you can't come back and have that burst and stuff like that and not be a worker. And I think, you know, that's a tribute to him, of whoever's training him. They did a really good job of getting him back out on the football field, getting him physically ready to go, because you see the explosion.
With the way your y'all's defense runs, could AJ shadow guys and you guys go that way? Like, how do you handle your philosophy on that?
Well,
Some guys will only play sides.
No, I've done that in the past. You know, again, I did it when I was a young coach in Tennessee with Samari Rowe. I did it with Xavier Rhodes in Minnesota. Did it with Jai. And, you know, if that presents itself, I would love to put AJ on good football players. You know, and I think that's what you got to kind of work through. You know, you got to know, okay, can AJ do this, but does it screw up the whole entire defense if he does that? So, you know, it's a little bit more than just matching the guy, because now what if he's inside and AJ's never played the nickel? So now all of a sudden it's like, well, coach, you got me matched it, but now I got a nickel playing corner and a corner playing nickel, and it screws up the whole defense. So you got to be really careful about those things. And so as coaches, we go through that and say, hey, is this the best matchup this week that it doesn't screw up our defense? Because we still want to play great defense.
How much is that primarily maybe your decision versus Ryan coming to you, or like how does that go when you make that decision of whether or not to use AJ as a shadow or not?
Well, I mean, we bring it up as a staff. You know, Arthur's going to be in on it. Ryan's going to be in on it. You know, so we kind of talk about it. Is this the best week, or is this the best time? You know, and then Arthur say, well, what if he does this, because he's the offensive guy? Well, what if he does this? And then if you don't have answers, you ain't doing that. You know, so he wants to know if you thought us through the whole deal, not just part of it, and try to make one guy look good, but then you tear everything else down. So, you know, to me, I like that concept, because he makes you think about what you're actually doing before you go on the football field.
How deep does Arthur go? Does he throw like, well, what if they put him in the backfield?
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, all that stuff, because that can happen. You don't have any rules on their offense. So if you don't go through all the what ifs, then if you don't have answers, what if they do put him in the backfield? Now all of a sudden you got a guy like, well, where do you want me to go? And he's holding his hands up on the side on the field. That's not a good look.
AJ's a guy who kind of prides himself on laying the wood, coming up, making plays on the run game. How unusual is that for a cornerback who's so good like him? And does it ever scare you, like he's being so physical out there? Do you love it?
No, I love it, because, again, when you see a guy who got cover skills and can go up and be physical and hit, that's a plus, because now the guys that he's going against know that if I'm not blocking him, he's going to hit that running back. So now it makes them show their hand a lot faster. I'm not just a cover goner. You could just jog me off, and I'm not going to go and make any tackles. It's totally different with AJ. You know, and I've been fortunate enough to coach a couple like that. Xavier Rhodes was the same way. Big corner, doesn't mind hitting, but I'll still go out there and cover you. So now it makes a receiver block, and now if he's blocking, that means he's not running the route. It means it's a run. So now all those things help us out on the back end.
How do you prepare for a guy like Evan Ingram, who's a top 3 tight end in receptions right now?
Well, you try to maybe put a couple of DBs on him. I mean, when you see him, the guy's incredible. You know, big physical-looking guy, can run after catch, has a lot of yards. So, you know, you got to know where he is. And that's the thing about their offense. It's not just one guy. You know, they have multiple guys that can catch the football. They got Kirk, who can catch the football inside and underneath. You got Ridley, who can stretch the field. Then you put Ingram in, you know, then the running back on screen. So they have a really, really good skill position. And I thought they've done a really good job of doing that. So, you know, our work is going to be cut out on Sunday.
Is there a difference between preparing to guard someone who is a tight end versus a wide receiver that's a threat in the passing game?
Not really. You know, it's because I've been against Kelsey and been against Ertz and guys like that, who I think Ingram has more athletic ability, but they had just as much skill, and they put fear in you if you leave these guys open. So, you know, you can't give them too much space, because if they catch a check down, they can take it 10 or 15 yards. So that's the thing that we have to be thinking about when Ingram is in the game. You can't just cover other guys and then leave him by himself. That, you know, because this guy he's just as good as anybody else out on the football field.
Coach, can you all see with so many new people and coaches that where the defense is coming together? You had stretches in the last couple of games where you shut people down for long periods of time.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing that we're hopefully keep narrowing down and saying, you know, I'm always looking, what is our guys good at? You know, and you kind of go through training camp, you go through preseason, and then eventually the guys become who they are. So we as staff, we have to say, okay, well, if he's really good at this, let's put him here. He's really good at this, put him here. And now that defense actually gels a lot faster because you're putting guys in what they're really good at. You're not trying to figure out what they're doing. And, you know, we're like really 3 games in, and we've kind of like, okay, we can zero in on what our guys are good at, you know, and let's let them go out there and be the good football players that they need to be.
How long does it take for you to really know what a guy's good at?
Well, I mean, I think it just depends on the coaching. Like I said, I try to individually look at guys, and, you know, like when I look at AJ, I look at Okuda, I look at our linebacker core, I look at our D-line and say, okay, if you roll a basketball out there, what would they do? And then you said, okay, if that's the case, then if you put a football out there, they're going to probably do the same thing. So now it's our job to put them in those positions, because you can tell right off the bat what a guy's going to do. If you just picked up a basketball and say, hey, let's go to the court, you're not just going to pick the fastest guy. You're going to pick the guy that's what he's good at. A guy may be banging down low. A guy may be shooting a 3. So you got to build your team around that. You can't get all 3-point shooters. You wouldn't get a rebound. So those are things that we have to constantly keep doing as a staff once we're trying to figure out our football team. You know, who's the best pass rusher? Who's the best guy should be out on 3rd down? So those are things we got to keep doing.
Anything else?
I can only keep going with this thing. I'm curious. Like, so where do like AJ and Okuda and Jessie fit in terms of the basketball thought process for you here? Are they all?
Well, I got 2 good cover corners, and I got a safety that can get the ball out there. All right, thanks, guys.
What sticks out to you about this Jacksonville offense and what Trevor Lawrence and that crew have been doing the first couple weeks?
Yeah, I think they do a really good job of surrounding Trevor Lawrence with weapons around him. You know, they got the receivers. You know, Calvin, you know, can run, you know, every route on the route tree. You know, you got Ingram, the tight end. He just got his new contract. You know, someone that can catch and run. You know, a lot of tight ends are more possession, you know, receivers, but he's someone that can, you know, that's treated like a receiver almost. And then you got Christian Kirk, who is really good as well. So, like I said, there's a lot of weapons that they surrounded Trevor Lawrence with. I think they did a really good job of, you know, running the ball and then being able to run some boots off of it and stuff like that. And that's where they had some success in the first 2 weeks. They got kind of punched in the face, you know, week 3, but I'm sure they'll be ready to roll.
What excitement level do you have going into an international game and heading to London?
Yeah, I think it's, you know, really cool. I think it's really cool for the, you know, the game of football. You know, being able to go across the pond and, you know, play a sport that's not really, you know, the favorite over there. But to interact with those fans, I think it'll be really cool. I went there, I think, my 3rd year in the league. And it was definitely an experience. Now, being a vet, I can kind of move around, you know, stay locked in on the game plan, but also enjoy London as well.
What do you remember from that experience specifically?
I remember the grass being bad. And then I also remember the fans just yelling at everything, honestly. Like I said, it's a really cool experience where it's going to be 80,000 fans, you know, maybe, you know, 5% of them may know football. You know, the other half, the other majority probably know nothing about it. They just want to go there and support. So, like I said, I'm excited to give them, you know, us and this team, I'm excited to give them a show.
Are you doing anything differently to acclimate your body and sleep schedule?
Yeah, I haven't done anything yet, but I know how it is once you get across the pond. As soon as we land, we'll go and practice. And kind of get our bodies adjusted to that time. But at the end of the day, I think our mindset on this team is, you know, put the ball down anywhere, you know, anytime, and we'll be ready to play.
We keep hearing everyone say we got punched in the mouth, we got kicked in the face. That's
Yeah.
kind of like phrase. Is that something that was said and you guys just have like internalized, or how has everyone kind of settled on that?
Yeah, it's kind of like the reality. You know, something that, you know, everybody kind of uses as an example. But I think if you turn on that tape, you know, there's plays where we punch people in the face too, but we just didn't come out on the right end of the stick. So that's what happens. I think people did a really good job of not overreacting to that loss. And, you know, it's only week 3. You know, was fortunate we got, you know, a really good game to go and play, like I said, across the pond. Another great opportunity to go 1-0. And, you know, get back on track, get back on the winning track, and I think that we could do that for sure.
There's going to be a Toy Story animated broadcast.
Yeah.
Were you a Toy Story fan growing up, or a
Yeah,
specific character?
yeah, I know Woody and all them. Yeah, so it'll be pretty cool. I told my mom to record it. Maybe my son one day he can turn on a football game and watch Toy Story at the same time. So I know this generation is a little different nowadays. So I gotta stick them back to the roots of Toy Story. So yeah.
Thanks, Jesse.
Yeah,
Appreciate you.
appreciate
Is
it.
it crazy to think about the footprint of NFL fandom and how it stretches across the ocean?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty awesome. I mean, because it's such a soccer, fandom out there. So now that, football is being able to be seen in a brighter light and to be seen across, soccer fans, I think it'll be something that will take off in years to come. But to see the stadium filled up on Sunday, and just all different people wearing different jerseys and just having fun, having a good time, I'm excited to get to play out there.
Who do you support soccer-wise?
I'm a Liverpool fan. But they haven't been winning a lot. So like I've been watching like a lot of like Manchester, Man City, Man United. But yeah, I'm a Liverpool guy. I know. Sucks.
One of the things that Desmond was talking about is adjusting his sleep schedule and trying to prepare for that over there. Obviously, you know, neither one of you have been across the country or across the pond.
Yeah.
How do you adjust as a player? What have you been doing this week to prepare for that?
The exact same thing. Just going to bed earlier and trying to wake up earlier. So I've been, going to bed at like 8 o'clock, trying to like 8 or 8:30, and then trying to wake up at like 4 o'clock. Because I think that it's gonna be better for us when we get up there, because I think we're like 5 hours behind. So just doing that for these past couple of days and then doing it throughout the week, I think it'll be a help for me and all the guys when we get to London.
Aside from the sleep schedule, is there anything, when you have long flights, there's people who kind of maybe foam roll extra, wear compression socks, or is there anything you'll do to kind of keep your body feeling better once you guys get in London?
Yeah, so I'm gonna do the compression for my legs, and then I'm gonna try to take melatonin and just go to sleep, throughout the night. And then if I wake up, then I'm gonna do like some more recovery stuff. But I can sleep for a long time.
Even on a plane?
Even on the plane, yeah, I'd be knocked out. So hopefully I can sleep throughout the whole night when we leave.
Bijan, coming out of the Detroit game, just what's been the point of focus for the offense this week in practice?
Yeah, just physicality. We gotta come in there and just play our brand of football. We didn't do that on Sunday, and Detroit they took advantage of it, and we got smacked in the mouth. So just having that feeling, understanding that we got so much talent on this team, and we play a physical brand of football. So going up there and just doing what we do, and just letting them feel us.
What's been the mood in the locker room after kind of a disappointing Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, we came in. For me, I thought everybody was gonna be kind of down, but everybody was like more ready to play this next game than they were trying to mope around. And like for me, like I hate to lose, so I came in trying to see everybody else. But I saw Bud in the locker room when I walked in, and he was like, "Bruh," he was like, "You're good." He was like, "You'll be all right," and that really like helped me out. So it's been super positive now going into this game, and I think we're all ready to go to play them up there.
How does it differ when you come off a loss in college compared to the pros? Like, what's that next week like?
Yeah, that was what I was feeling. Like I was feeling like, shoot, we're not gonna go to. I told my dad when I was on the phone with him, I was like, Dad, like this is our our college football playoff like feeling right now. Like if we lose this game, like we're not gonna go. But I forgot like the NFL is so much different than college. But still, like I want to win every game, and we work so hard to try to win every game. So, it was a little tough at first, but then I just had to get over it and be like, we have another opportunity to go.
For starters, Troy going on IR, what kind of loss is that for the defense?
Yeah, it sucks. See how hard he's worked, how special of a player he is, and just his athleticism, his size, how smart he is. He's a great player, and so to lose him hurts. Obviously, it's next man up, and we're ready to go and have to fill that void and other guys just got to step up. You know what I mean? We're going to have to kind of rally around it and make some plays. But at the end of the day, is that is an easy thing? No, because he's a special player. So I'm just going to have to, step up.
When you look at this Jags offense and you see what Trevor Lawrence has been doing in the first couple of weeks, what stands out?
They just got a lot of playmakers, or a lot of good offensive weapons around him. Obviously they had pretty good success last year, winning a playoff game, doing all what they did last year, and trying to just continue to ride that wave and improve this year. So it's a team that we respect. It's a team that we know is very talented and capable, and just got to go out and give them our best.
What's the key to making sure Evan Ingram doesn't have any success in the passing game?
Not without giving any away, any what we're going to do. But at the end of the day, he's a very, he catches the ball like a receiver. He runs like a receiver, but then he's big like a tight end. You know what I mean? He's one of those hybrids that has obviously done really well these last couple years. So just at the end of the day, always having a man on him, knowing where he's at, and we got to have a little more formation recognition of where is he at and how do they like to get him the ball in this situation, in this formation. So that's something we're going to study. We're going to look at this week because, again, they're going to get him the ball, and when he has the ball in his hand, he's a threat.
Is keeping an eye on him more important this week after how Sam Laporta had that huge 45-yard touchdown?
Obviously that stinks that it happened last week, but at the end of the day, I think you can't give too much attention to one position because they got some other good weapons out there too. So at the end of the day, addressing the things that happened last week that allowed that to get open, yes, address those things in our defense, but I think really you got to give him the recognition he deserves just because of the player he is.
Kaden, it seems like this defense has come out every second half of the game so far and been much better. What do you credit that to?
Offenses are, have some. We're scheming them up during the week. They're scheming us up during the week. And, sometimes we're going to get them on some things in the first half, and they might get us on some things in the first half. And at the end of the day, our goal is to make it so that never happens, so that we know, what are the weaknesses in our defense and how are we going to know offenses are going to try to attack us. We can take that away in the first half. At the end of the day, it doesn't always happen. And I think you're able to get to the locker room and say, all right, this is what they've hit us on. This is what's going to come off of that. And we got to change this. And being able to do that and everybody on the same page, I think it's a real credit to the coaching staff and being able to verbalize those things to the players and get that up on the chalkboard for us, and the players being able to taking the information and make those adjustments.
Kaden, after sitting there and watching all the film from last week, what's the biggest point of emphasis for the defense this week?
I think it kind of goes back to just being who we are, attacking aggressive. At the end of the day, we credit the Lions. They had some good players, make some good plays, and some good coaches call some good things. But at the end of the day, on each play, you can look at something that we did that allowed that to happen. And so coming out with the same mindset we always have, be attacking and aggressive, and knowing, all right, just do your job while doing that. Because if we do our job, it's going to be really hard to beat us.
What are your thoughts on getting to play in London and just what that says about the footprint and fandom of the NFL?
It's awesome. I got to play there last year, and it was special. Like just the excitement that everybody had, not only on game day, but walking around with different guys and getting to just see the NFL logo out there. It's kind of it's kind of crazy because to them it's pitch and it's football, and that's what they love, and that's what's special to them. But also knowing that they'll welcome us over for a pretty fun game is special.
There's been so much made about travel and how you adjust to it, with the time difference and everything. But when it comes to just the game itself, what are the challenges playing over there presents, kind of?
Obviously, it's a different environment. It's a different stadium. It's a different place, different time change. Just a lot of change. But at the end of the day, I think if you can kind of stick to your routine as much as possible, then you'll be all right.
You trying to go to sleep a lot earlier in the days leading up to it, or?
I'm going to take a bunch of melatonin when we get there, and we'll figure it out. And maybe some caffeine on game day. We'll find out.
Was there anything from last year's trip that you're altering this year to make sure you're better adjusted, maybe?
No. I felt good by game time last year. Now, last year we went out earlier, but at the same time, I think, just got to.
Do it.
This is what it is. Go do it. It'll be fun, and, when the ball snaps at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how much sleep you got. It's an exciting game. It's something that you love, so go play. Yeah.
Thanks, Kaden.
Thank you all.